Here are 5 steps to heal emotional and binge eating and still reach your health goals. These have the power to completely transform your life. It's how I healed, and it'll be a bit of a longer video. So grab a notebook, take notes. And if you do, I guarantee you, if you apply these steps, your life will forever change. First, I want to share a little bit about my experience. For about 5 or 6 years back in college, I struggled so intensely with food in my body. I remember at the end of my freshman year, I started gaining weight and I noticed it for kind of the first time in my life. And that's when I started to seriously restrict myself. I felt like I needed to be skinny and fit in order to feel pretty, in order to feel like I'm good enough, in order to fit in order to be okay being in shorts, dresses, bikinis. And I thought the only path was to restrict myself and work out really, really, really hard. And that started this cycle of extreme restriction, extreme starvation to where I would binge and overeat at night. Sometimes I would make myself sick. And the next day, I would always try and exercise it off. Now, back then, I was so incredibly obsessed with food and exercise. And it wasn't until I healed that I realized how much time and space it took up in my mind. It was like all I thought about, thinking about how I look, how I can look better, how I can get abs, how I can have a booty, how I can, fit in whatever way I thought I could. And it was interesting because my whole life began to shape around it. I started becoming the girl in the friend group who was the healthiest. In fact, I won a superlative with my sorority, and it was the most likely to eat a salad. And everyone thought I was so healthy and happy because I was really good at hiding it. I was really good at presenting that I was really healthy. And I was really good at presenting that I was okay, but on the inside, I wasn't. And eventually, after hitting rock bottom, unfortunately, it took me 5 to 6 years to get to that place where I finally made a shift. I began to heal. And those are the steps I'm going to take you through right now so that you can as well, no matter where you are in your food or health journey. If this speaks to you, then I know these steps will support you. And what I want to make clear here is where I am now, which has been many, 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 many years where I'm completely at peace with food and with my body. And I didn't need to completely let go of any health goals or health intentions. In fact, I became so much healthier in such an easy way where I am fit and strong, but I'm not obsessed about it. I'm not restricting myself. I'm just loving myself so deeply for the rest of my life that my body has naturally reached this weight and state where I am toned and fit and strong and I feel sexy and good in my body, but it's not from a place of obsession. And that's the first step I want to take you through. So the first step is take food and your body goals off of the pedestal. Anytime we put something on a pedestal and we make it really, really, really big and like we need to work really hard and try really hard and do all of these things to get there, we push it away. And you may notice this in other areas of your life. If you become really obsessed over a certain person, you may notice they begin to be pushed away. Or you become really obsessed over making more money, you may notice it's harder to attract money into your life. And it's the same with health. If you become really obsessed over your health, it feels harder. And energetically in the quantum field, this is actually balancing forces that are basically you're putting over importance on food, health, your body. So the balancing force to create homeostasis and balance within you is just naturally, um, a better way that I like to look at it, because the quantum perspective can be a bit confusing, although it's really cool and I nerd out over it, is I kind of see it as the universe or God saying, if you achieve your goal while you're this stressed out and this obsessed and you're making it this big of a deal, then I don't want to give it to you. Because if I give it to you, then you're going to believe that you have to be that way for the rest of your life. So I want you to chill out and deeply love yourself and get in alignment with it already being here and enjoy your life, enjoy yourself, and then I'll deliver it to you. And as someone who has been studying and coaching manifestation for over half a decade, this really applies to every area of life: health, relationships, money, business. We want to take it off the pedestal, and you can ask yourself this: if I already had it now, so I already was in my most healthy form and I felt sexy in my body and I felt healthy and free around food and I felt energized, what would I be doing, thinking, and how would I be spending my time? Because you probably would begin to discover, okay, I would have my workouts scheduled throughout the week, maybe 3 or 4 weightlifting sessions and 4 to 5 really long walks where I'm listening to a book that I love. And then you would just do them. And whether you felt excited for it or not, you would just do it. And it wouldn't be a big deal. And you wouldn't spend time thinking about it or analyzing it or trying to find something else. You wouldn't be trying to lose weight really fast within a week or two, because it's a lifelong health relationship that you have. And do you notice, just imagining that version of yourself that is already healthy, and not healthy just to look good for one vacation, for the rest of your life, that you're just more chill, you're more relaxed, you're more disciplined, you're more self loving, you aren't overly focused on health in your body or food, because it's just a part of your life where you may meal prep and then you eat when it's time to eat, and then you go live your life and it's not a big deal. So you want to bring in that energy of, it's not a big deal for me to have the health that I want. It's not a big deal. And that invites in this relaxation, and it drops the resistance, which causes a self-sabotage. That's what I was kind of pointing to when I was speaking about the quantum field. Okay, that's step one. And it's interesting because when I started to heal my relationship with food and my body, and the coach that I hired told me that it's not about the food, I was like, bull fucking shit, it's not about the food. Like, yes, it is, because that's all I'm thinking about. And she's like, no, babe, it's not. And she was right. I did this program and we never once spoke about food. It was all about these other steps that I'm going to take you through. Okay. The second piece is to learn how to meet your needs. Okay. Learn how to meet your needs. What does that mean? Okay. We all have human needs. We have 6 primary ones. So one of them is connection, love and connection. Now, we will always meet our needs in a way that serves us or doesn't serve us. So, especially for emotional and binge eating, very often a trigger is needing connection, needing to feel loved, but feeling lonely. And instead of noticing, okay, hey, I have a need for love and connection right now, you may use food to numb it out, to numb out that feeling of loneliness, to numb out that feeling of longing. Maybe you're afraid to connect. You're afraid to reach out. You feel like you shouldn't have to. You feel like you should be really independent. You're afraid of getting hurt again. So you don't reach out and you just eat to stuff down that feeling, to fill the hole within you. And energetically, this actually is a hole. It's a hole in the lower belly, if we look at the energy field of the body and how this, it's like a fundamental basic human need of, um, so our second stage of development when we're children is connection and nourishment. And if that wasn't fully met, which for a lot of people it wasn't, then you may grow up into adulthood and still feel this feeling of, um, merging, seeking. In psychology, they call this the oral process or oral compensative process or the merging pattern. You don't need to know all of that now. I'm just saying that what happens in the energy body is it's learned to reach when there's an emptiness, but it doesn't always get met. You reach, but it doesn't always get met. So this can cause you to feel this sense of anxiety very often, this sense of nervousness or emptiness in the belly. And there's a million ways that people cope with this, not knowing that what they genuinely need is just deep love, touch, connection from someone that's stable, not someone who you have a crush on who's not secure and is going to flee, not connection with food, connection with a really stable person in your life. And this is where I highly recommend, if this is like, whoa, this is me, this is resonating, reach for a therapist, a somatic practitioner, a healer. Me, if you want to join my Love Embodied program and or work with me one-on-one, I can't stress enough how healing this is, because what happens when there's that emptiness and that reaching, you may be reaching for food when you're not hungry and when you don't need the food, but you also may be reaching for other things like sex, even though at times when, the person doesn't deserve you, or when you're not actually available to have sex. You could be reaching for drugs and alcohol. You could be feeling, if you're an entrepreneur or you're trying to manifest more abundance, you could be reaching and trying to get more clients, more money, but it's this constant feeling of not enough. It's the worthiness wound, the enoughness wound. It's called many different things, but on the core level, it's energetic. And this is one of the things that was so deeply healing for me as I started to work with a healer who helped me fill that center in my body and feel what it felt like to be fully whole and no longer seeking and searching and needing to fill that, just to feel so full and whole without anything outside of me. And from that place, there was no longer that craving, and I actually became a match to abundance and love. And from that place, I began to naturally attract more loving connections and relationships. So, yeah, it's very, very simple, but most people don't know about it. And it's something that needs to be healed in connection with others. And that's why it's such a passion of mine to work with clients and work one-on-one and create these groups, because there's a myth that we can heal on our own, that we're meant to do life on our own, that we're meant to be really independent. Like, we're so much weaker on our own. And there's an emptiness that is felt when we're on our own. And it's interesting because you could be surrounded by people in your life. Maybe you live with people, maybe you have friends and family that you can connect with, but that it doesn't fully click. Like, you don't feel that fullness. And that's because most people are relating from an intellectual place, and you're not fully dropped in and being genuinely felt and met on the spiritual, soul, energetic level. And that's what I'm trained in, and that's what I help people with. And yes, if you feel called to work with me, you are invited to. Right now, you can join my Love Embodied program. I teach it once a year. Um, there's also incredible people out there, and I know that you'll be guided. Really, what I want to emphasize here is Don't try to do it on your own. Do it with someone else. Begin to get that need of connection met because it's so important. And you don't need to be lonely. Like I used to just when it was most intense for me, the binge and emotional eating, I would work really hard and not love what I was doing when I was in college and grad school. And then I would be burnt out and I would feel like I didn't want to socialize or I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be seen in my emotions. I didn't know what I was feeling. Like it was this withdrawal that I felt that I would be alone. And then I'd be scrolling on my phone, watching Netflix, like escaping life. And then I would just like feel even more lonely and more shitty from doing that, that I would just eat to numb it out and make myself go to sleep. And that doesn't need to be you at all. Like I used to dream of a life where I was surrounded by the most incredible friends and like not just watching the show and movie, but living it, like being in it and like living my best movie. And as I was healing, I manifested it. And now I'm like, this is crazy. Like, not only did my dreams of that life come true where I'm surrounded by friends and I feel so connected and so seen and so loved for exactly who I am. I also it's better than I ever imagined. And I'm certain if I can do it, you can do it too. And that's available for you. Okay. And that's just one human need that we spoke about is love and connection. There's many more. And in my Love Embodied program, we move through all of the different human needs and we discover how can you get your needs met and meet them in a way that really serves you. So one thing you could begin doing today to explore that is asking yourself this question. So when you engage in a habit that you're not proud of, right now we're talking about emotional eating or binge eating. This can apply to other habits as well, but when you engage in that habit, I want you when you notice it and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is what I'm doing." I want you to pause and notice the thoughts in your head. You probably are beginning to shame yourself like, "Why did you do that? I'm so mad at you. Now we need to get rid of this. It's time to starve yourself or work out really hard tomorrow or start again on Monday." And what that is that shame. That's shame. And shame keeps that cycle alive. So what we want to do is we want to cut through that shame and no longer let shame be a part of your existence. So when you feel the shame, I want you to place a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly. You can do it with me now. Place a hand on your heart. Take 3 deep breaths. So breathe in, fill up your belly and chest. Breathe out. Another big one. Breathe in. Breathe out. And one more. Biggest breath of your day. Breathe in. Breathe out. Allowing your body to relax. And ask yourself, what do you need right now and how can I love you more? What do you need right now and how can I love you more? And just notice. Maybe you see an image or you hear something or you just have this inner knowing. That's your intuition guiding you. And it's telling you, and it will always tell you something biological. So maybe you need to go out in nature. Maybe you need a break. Maybe you need to relax, like deeply relax and regulate your nervous system. Maybe you need to connect and laugh and play and just have some freaking fun. Maybe you need to do something, like accomplish something and like get up and get moving. But the thing is, only you can know what you need, and it will be different depending on the moment. Now, you can start asking yourself this all the time. When you notice, like, okay, hey, I'm about to emotionally eat. Like, I just had dinner a couple hours ago. I know I'm not hungry, but I'm feeling this craving. Breathe and ask yourself that. And if you've already done it and you're going into the shame, ask yourself the same question, but go back to the moment, like what you were feeling before you engaged in that behavior. And ask yourself, what did I need? What did I need? And how could I have loved myself more? This is essential and it's amazing and it will change your life because what you're doing is you're, instead of shaming yourself and beating yourself up, which would be insane to keep doing, because think about it. I want you to imagine that you're speaking to the 2-year-old version of you that didn't get that need met. You don't want to yell and beat up and be mean to the 2-year-old version of yourself, right? So we're bringing in self-love. So instead of shaming yourself, you're actually learning and growing. You're saying, what did I need before I engaged in that habit? Oh, interesting. I have been alone all day long. I really needed connection. I really needed a hug. Oh, interesting. I haven't laughed in like 3 whole days. I needed to laugh and have some freaking fun. Oh, interesting. I was on my computer for 4 hours straight and I just felt like this really fast, like o- overwhelming energy. My mind was racing. I just needed to relax. I probably needed to just go sit outside in nature, maybe just lie down in nature for 10 minutes or get some fresh air. Oh, interesting. I was laying on the couch, binge watching Heated Rivalry for 4 hours. I needed to get up and move my body and get outside. Only you can know what you needed, but what this is doing is you're beginning to notice what is your trigger and how to actually get your need met. Okay? Because you can't just say, okay, I'm just not gonna eat the foods that I emotionally eat. I'm not gonna eat the sugar or the savory foods or whatever it is. Because that's putting it on the pedestal again. It's like telling yourself, don't think about a pink elephant. What just popped in your head? A pink freaking elephant. So that's putting it on the pedestal and it's just gonna make you more obsessed. You don't say I'm not gonna do that. Say I'm actually gonna love myself so deeply that I'm gonna give myself what I actually need. Anytime you're breaking a habit, you don't wanna just withdraw it from your life. You need to replace it with something else. And in the beginning, it will feel a bit difficult and challenging, of course, because you have this neural pathway in your brain. And it's kind of like how neural pathways are created is kind of like a river. So it, every time you engage in the activity, more water would be flowing down a new river. And it creates these grooves where eventually the water just naturally flows down that river because it's been flowing for so long. So you're creating a new neural pathway, a new habit. Every time you feel that trigger, okay, I'm not just going to restrict myself and say no, I'm going to give myself what I need. And that's creating a new neural pathway. And the more you engage in that behavior, it just becomes your natural state. Where now, what used to trigger me are some of those examples. So being on my computer for 4 hours, I used to turn to food because it's the only way my body knew how to make me feel safe again would to be to eat. But through healing, I learned, oh, when I feel that sense of overwhelm, now naturally I don't even think about food. It's no longer a neural pathway that my brain goes down. I just ask myself, what do I need? And usually for me, I just need to chill out, get off my computer for a little bit, go sit outside in nature, and my body, my nervous system regulates itself. There's a lot of hype right now around nervous system regulation, and The truth is, you don't regulate your nervous system. Your nervous system knows how to regulate itself. You just need to create the conditions for it to regulate itself, which is often a sense of relaxing if you're overwhelmed. But on the flip side, if you're too relaxed and that's the trigger, then you need to create movement. Okay. So meet your needs and release the shame and take it as a lesson learned, which is the most loving thing you can do for yourself. And when you're deeply loving yourself and you're getting your needs met, you're meeting your own needs, you just naturally are going to be healthy. Like my body won't let me go 4 or 5 days without exercise. Like I would just feel awful. Like my body would be craving movement. My body wouldn't let me eat junk food all day long, all the time, because when I'm really connected to my body tells me what it wants. And it's not always what my taste buds want. It's not always what my mind wants, but it's what my body wants. And I'm deeply loving myself by giving my body what it wants so that I live in a healthy, thriving body. Not so that I get validation from others, not so that I feel good enough, not so that I can post some photo or video and look sexy and get likes. No. I don't need anyone outside of me to give me validation. That's my job. And you don't need anyone outside of you to give you validation. That's your job. If you always rely on someone else to give you love and validation, you're just going to be flowing with the wind, always trying to be someone that you're not, trying to be liked, trying to be good enough. Like, yawn. That is so boring. Instead, you get to deeply love yourself and say, hey, here I am. Here I am in this body that's always going to change. And, I'm so passionate about this because too many women have their self-worth tied in their appearance. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look beautiful. I put on some makeup today. I wet my hair and scrunched it. I'm, wearing my rings. Like, I want to look presentable. And when does that end? Because I could definitely be obsessing over the wrinkles on my face, my smile lines, the cellulite on my legs. And the thing is, when your worth is tied to the way you look fully, you will always find something else to fix about yourself. And even if somehow, some way, you get to you're like, I'm in love with the way I look. Guess what? We age. And what's going to happen when you're 40, 50, 60, 70, and your body keeps changing? Do you want to spend your whole life obsessing over the way your body looks? Because I know I don't. I spent way too long doing that. I'm over it. Hell fucking no will I do that. And please borrow that from me if that feels good, to say like, hell fucking no, I am not going to waste my life obsessing over the way I look, because I will always change. Yes, of course I'm going to get wrinkles. Yes, of course I'm going to get gray hair. Yes, of course my boobs are going to sag, my skin's going to change, everything's going to change. And that doesn't mean I need to not care about my appearance at all. But it means how I believe what I believe I'm worth and what I believe makes me lovable isn't my appearance. It's who I am. Because you are not your body. You're not your body. So look at your phone. What do you say when you have your phone? You say, this is my phone, right? And your laptop or computer, you say, this is my laptop, my computer. This is my cup. This is my microphone. This is my ring. Okay. Now I want you to look at your hand. What do you say? You say, this is my hand. And your arm. You say, this is my arm, my belly, my butt, my legs. So those are things that you have. They're not who you are. And if they're things that you have and they're not who you are, then who are you? Who are you if you are not your body? Well, to me, what I've come to know is that I am my essence, my spirit, my unique self. I am a woman who loves being in nature, who loves laughing. If I could laugh all day long, I would. I love connecting with people. Like I just want to hug people and laugh and play like a kid all day long. I love music. I'm passionate. I'm passionate about helping women feel vibrant and alive and confident. I I am a sister and I love being a sister and a daughter. I can be really weird sometimes. I can be really serious sometimes. I can be really nerdy. I I love learning how to play piano. I love learning how to surf. These are parts of my essence. They're parts of me. And there was a time when I was like, who am I? Like, all I cared about was the way I looked. So I had to get to know myself. I had to get to know my essence. I had to get to know who I am. And it's the most fun journey that I'm still on. I'm like, every day, every week, every month, every year, I'm like, wow, like, can I fall in love with myself and life even more? Yes, yes, yes. Like, so what I'm getting at here is you are you have a unique individual essence. Things that you love, things that you enjoy, things that make you passionate. And your body is simply a vehicle that is helping you navigate this human life. Because if you didn't have it, you wouldn't be here. I imagine it as this like white spirit essence that comes down into the earth and it's like, okay, I'm going to go into these parents' I'm going to go with these parents and this family and this dynamic, and I'm going to pop in to this body. So my essence is in my body. So I take care of my body so that I can live, so that I can feel energized, so that I can feel passionate, so that I can travel and do all the things that I love. So loving myself, who I am on the inside, helps me take care of my body. And just naturally, again, naturally, from that place of self love, it's easy for me to take care of my body and be healthy and stick to the commitments I make with myself. Okay. And that brings me to the third step. I know I'm like giving you more within these steps, but the third step we just kind of spoke about, which is create a life and relationships that you love. So I'll ask you, is food your main source of happiness or one of your main sources of happiness? I remember this is a huge reason why I began or why I would turn to food so much in the past is I just was unhappy. And I would spend all day working and helping other people and like doing all these things that at the end of the day, I'm just like, "Ugh, I just want to feel pleasure. I just want to feel good." And I see this in life. It's very easy for me to see who has food as a main source of their happiness. And it's okay if food makes you happy. Like, I freaking love food. I'm a complete foodie. And I have other sources of happiness and pleasure. So you want to ask yourself, is this good for me now and later? Is this good for me now and later? Just begin asking yourself that and ask yourself, how can I experience happiness every single day? No longer waiting to have the perfect body or to have the relationship or to have the dream job or the certain amount of money. Fuck that. No longer waiting for something outside of you to make you happy. Because here's the thing, wherever you go, there you are. So if you're imagining a year from now and you're like, a year from now, I'm going to have all of that, or I'm going to have some of it. That will make me happy. Guess what? If you don't change your inner world and you don't learn how to feel happiness today, you're going to take you with you. Just like how if you look back a week ago, you're pretty similar to who you were a week ago. Well, it's going to happen in a week and in a week and a week and a year from now. If you don't continue growing, you're either going to stay the same or kind of deteriorate on the inside. Some people believe if we're not growing, we're dying. And this isn't just physically, but like spiritually, emotionally, mentally. So this was a crazy aha moment for me because I realized if I always believe the happiness is a year from now or 6 months from now or 5 years from now, then when I'm there, I'm still going to believe that because wherever I am, there, wherever I go, there I am. So even a year from now, I'll still feel like it's a year from now. And then I'll still feel like it's a year from now. So instead, you want to become really present and say, okay, I'm making it my mission to feel as much joy and love today as humanly possible. And what's so cool about this is you collapse time because love and joy are frequencies that are very magnetic. They fill you with enthusiasm, with passion. Your life will change so freaking fast when you begin to say, I'm going to feel grateful and happy and joyful now. And I know it can seem like it's not easy. It can seem like, how could I possibly do that? Nothing in my life is working. I'm at a rock bottom or I'm at a middle bottom. I'm on my way down. Like, how could I possibly feel grateful? There's all of these things happening in the world. Breathe. You have to take the focus off of the outside and come into your heart, come into your being. There's a reason that I have grateful tattooed on my hand, and it's because it's what got me out of my rock bottom. Feeling like I had nothing, feeling so upset, so lonely, so empty, so mad at myself, so ashamed. And I said, screw this. I'm not going to marinate in this. And I chose to find something to be grateful for. And then I felt a spark in my heart when I was like, oh, I'm grateful for this coffee. It's the only thing I can afford. It's the only thing that makes me happy. I feel like, okay, I'm going to be grateful for this coffee. And I felt a spark in my heart. And then I'm like, okay, let me find something else to be grateful for. And I grabbed the cozy blanket. I'm like, oh, I have a cozy blanket. I'm grateful for this. And I felt another spark in my heart. And then I went over to the window and I was watching the snow fall. And I felt another spark in my heart. And eventually I went from complete self-loathing, rock bottom, depression, anxiety, not even anxiety, I just like didn't care anymore, to holy crap, I am completely blissed out, so happy, so vibrant, so alive, so ecstatic. And nothing outside of me changed. It was all in here. And from that place, my whole life changed because how I saw life changed. The ideas that came to me changed. The way that I wanted to spend my time changed. Ah, it was amazing. And my life completely transformed from there, where I really created the dream life and relationships. And the key to that is embodying the frequencies of love and joy. I teach this in depth in my Love Embodied program. And it's incredible, incredible. And yeah, I'll talk more about that at the end of this, but it's incredible. So the fourth step is to learn to feel safe feeling. Learn to feel safe feeling. Okay. We spoke earlier about the belly feeling empty, this emptiness. Well, what we also store in our belly, especially our lower belly, is trauma and emotion. This is why you may get teared up when you do certain stretches in yoga around your hips and your belly. It's also why you may feel, like, sensitive there, like, touching that area may feel sensitive to you. You may feel a bit of insecurity or, like, a weird feeling there in your lower belly. As women, we also have our wombs, and our wombs and our uterus store energy. And this is energy from your whole life if you've never cleared it. It's from past sexual partners. It's from any sexual abuse that you or your mom or grandma or lineage have experienced. It's psychic sexual abuse energy as well. Now, I'm not going to dive into all of that now, but what I will say is these energies need to be cleared. And typically, the best way to clear them is through certain physical practices like I call it yoni egg magic. It's like this massage practice with a jade egg and breath work. Breath work clears these energies on the emotional and energetic and spiritual level. Okay, again, these are things that I move through in my coaching and Love Embodied and in my private practice. And the reason this is so important is because these emotions can get triggered and they can cause us to loop in patterns of the past. They can cause us to feel really intense emotions and then want to numb them out. We don't feel safe to process them, or we are trying to process them on our own and we don't feel safe or capable of doing that. Um, Also, when it comes to especially past partners' energies, sexual abuse, psychic sexual abuse, what can tend to happen is a fear is developed of being hurt again. You might not even be aware of it. You may logically be like, yes, I want that loving relationship. I know I want it. You may even be saying, I know what I deserve, but you're attracted. You may say, I know what I deserve. I deserve an incredible man, but you may still be attracted to toxic men who are avoidant or lie or cheat. Or you may want a loving relationship, but be also terrified of it. And this is an unconscious way that your body tries to protect itself by emotional eating and binge eating and gaining weight. It can be a way that a lot of women will protect themselves from being seen, from being hurt again. And it may be really frustrating because you may deeply want love. You may not even be aware that the energy is within you, but your body is trying to protect you. And I can see how that can be really frustrating, but it's also really beautiful if you think about it, like the body's wisdom, the body like genuinely trying to love you. And if you want your body to love you in a different way, you have to love you in a different way. Okay. So learning to feel safe feeling. And then the fifth step I just shared, which is release stuck energies and emotions. Okay. So the trauma, the sexual abuse energy, the psychic sexual abuse energy. All right, my loves. So I know I just shared a lot. If this helped at least one person, I'm grateful. And you absolutely, like, I would really recommend you begin practicing asking yourself these questions and applying this to yourself today. And if you want me to guide you through this step by step, be in community with other women moving through this, learning to trust yourself, love yourself, clear these stuck energies and emotions, get your needs met. It's so amazing. Embody the energies and frequencies of love and joy and gratitude. Then my Love Embodied program may be for you. Okay. This is a 3-month program and we begin in April. And right now, at the recording of this, it's March. But when you enroll, depending on when you enroll, you can get an early bird special and begin on 2 mini courses. So you can begin right away, which is awesome. I don't want you to enroll and just be sitting there waiting. You get to enroll and start today. And the mini courses in there are like, even if you only did those, that would completely transform your life. Okay. And your relationship with yourself. And what I want to say about this course is this is my longest standing course that I've taught. When I began healing, I was working as a personal trainer and self love coach. Actually, I was working as a personal trainer, and then I was like, I need to help these people go deeper. So I found the online coaching world, and that allowed me to be a personal trainer and self love coach. And then I began incorporating food freedom. And then I dropped the personal training aspect, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go all in on self love because it was so transforming for my clients. And you can see on the enrollment page, I have so many testimonials and stories from clients who just rave about how their lives completely transformed, how they lost weight, how they became more fit and they weren't even focused on it, how their relationships changed, how their relationship with themselves changed. Like, I can't rave enough about this course. And that's why I've been teaching it for so long. This is my 6th or 7th year teaching it. I either began teaching it in 2019 or 2020. I'd have to go look. But it's been ages and it's incredible. And each year I improve it. And how this course is meant to run is you're meant to, so you take it with me and it's 3 months long. Each week there's a live module. Each week there's a lesson released and a practice. And the lessons move through some of the things we spoke about here, where, for example, you learned what your needs are and how to meet them. And then you have a practice to integrate it into your life and mind and body. And then we have 2 live calls each week. These are optional but highly recommended. One of them is a Q&A coaching call with me, and the other one's a community call, also with me, but with the whole group, where you get to connect and share and be seen and be loved for who you are. And this is probably one of the most healing parts. In the past, sometimes I released the course without the live coaching. And the feedback I got is that although the course is incredible, the live component is so deeply healing for the women because it's not very easy to find spaces in life where you can just fully 100% be yourself, share what you're feeling, emotions and all, and be completely met. No judgment, no criticism, just full, deep love. And that is astronomically healing. And it gives you this sense of self love and confidence and safety to where you can be yourself more and more in the outer world without, like, around other people who wouldn't necessarily get you or love you in that same way. It's so incredible. And yeah, I'm so excited because I only teach this course once a year. And I'm just so excited that we're launching it now because it's so incredible. And so I shared that it's 3 months long. And that's intentional. And it's intentional that it's going to run throughout part of summer because summer is the time when most people are going out and being more social, or at least wanting to, right? Going and being seen more in shorts, dresses, skirts, bikinis. Like, there's a reason it's happening over part of April, May, June, and the beginning of July. That's on purpose. And if you have busy summer plans and vacations, amazing. Integrate it into your social life. Like, that's the point. That's the point. Okay. We're no longer waiting for some time, not there in the future when you'll feel ready or feel like you have time or feel whatever. Like, there really, in the quantum, there is no tomorrow. It's now. So I encourage you to stop thinking and planning and planning and planning and say, what can I do now? What can I do today to step into that version of me that's in love with life, in love with myself, happy, free? It's amazing. Okay. And then you get lifetime access to the program and future updates. Well, lifetime meaning as long as the internet's on and the program is still active. You get it for at least several years, you'll have it. And it's intended to be repeated. So you move through the 3 months with us, and then you're like, "Ah, yes, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling amazing, but I could go even deeper." So then you can move through it again on your own, or if you want to be in the group again the next year, you can get an alumni rate and join the group again. I, as I said, it's been 6 or 7 years that it will be the sixth or seventh year that I'm teaching this program, and I take myself through it too each year, and I deepen the lessons and I update the modules, and it changes my life more and more each year as well. And that's really what life is, right? It's a journey, and it's a growth and evolution over a lifetime. And I feel so happy that I have found these tools and lessons and practices and community components that I can create this space for women to really come into their most aligned, happiest self. It's interesting because the world is going more and more online, and people are feeling more and more disconnected from themselves. And if you want to feel more connected to yourself with the tools to feel joy and love and peace in any moment, then this program may be the perfect next step for you. Okay? I love you so much. If you feel like any friends or family members would benefit from these steps, then feel free to send it their way. That would mean so much. And if you do want to join us in Love Embodied, you can check the link in my bio to join. The sooner you join, the sooner you have access to the early bird special. It changes each week this month. And yeah, I love you so much. If you have any questions on if the program is right for you, you can DM me. But I have a feeling you'll know if it's for you. And if it is, I'm so excited to support you. All right. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Mwah.